In this video, I will explain what I believe the mark of the beast will be. This is only my opinion. Study these things out on your own to see if they are true or not. I believe there are different aspects to the mark of the beast, just like there are different sides to a cube. If you have an idea of what the mark of the beast is, and it's different from mine, it doesn't necessarily mean either of us are wrong. It could just mean we're looking at it from different angles. It's not till we put the pieces together will we see the whole picture. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Revelation 13 verse 16 through 18. I believe that the mark of the beast is Satan's all-seeing eye, also called the eye of Lucifer. He will put his eye in people's right hands and foreheads, and he will monitor the world through that eye. People will become the vehicles through which he monitors the world. As a foreshadowing of this, Satan is already using smartphones to monitor the world. The camera in the smartphone is an eye. If you step out of line in today's society, people will quickly pull out their phones, record you and report you by posting you on the internet. Then, Satan will send his mob after you to destroy you. This is a foreshadowing of how the mark of the beast will work, at least one aspect of it. There will be different aspects to the mark of the beast. This is just one aspect, the monitoring aspect. The most popular smartphone is called an iPhone. That's because it's symbolic for the eye that will go into people's hands. People hold the eye in their hands now in the form of a smartphone, but one day, an eye will literally go into their hands, the mark of the beast. Satan will put his all-seeing eye in people's right hands and foreheads when they merge their minds with the World Wide Web and become one with it. The World Wide Web is a spider's web. The $1 bill has spider webs all over it, because one day we won't be able to buy or sell unless we merge with the web. And the all-seeing eye is on the $1 bill as well, because it represents the mark of the beast that you won't be able to buy or sell without. Everyone who merges with the spider's web will become one huge hive mind, with Satan controlling them from the top, and they will become one. This is the real reason the $1 bill has the word one on it. And that pyramid on the $1 bill represents the Tower of Babel, when the people were trying to become one. God stopped them from building it that time, but now they're rebuilding it with the internet. And I believe God is letting them do it to their own demise. This new Tower of Babel is a technological tower where the minds of the people of the world are becoming one through the internet. Each brick in the pyramid represents a person. The pyramid represents all the people of the world coming together as one, and Satan is the eye on top. Everyone who joins themselves to that pyramid will become trapped in a cube, confined in a prison, in their own individual cell. The people in these cells will make up the body of the beast, and he will be the head on top. I talk more about this in my video The Image of the Beast. The events of 9/11 revealed an important clue about the mark of the beast. After the Twin Towers fell, the government put into law the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act gives the government permission to spy on us, to use their all-seeing eye to watch us under the guise of protecting us. The Patriot Act is Big Brother. The symbol for Big Brother is the all-seeing eye. This Big Brother was born after the Twin Towers fell. I believe the Twin Towers symbolized Adam and Eve, a man and a woman. When the Twin Towers fell, it symbolized how Adam and Eve fell in the Garden of Eden after eating the forbidden fruit. That was the fall of man. The Twin Towers symbolized that fall. Adam and Eve had a child after they fell, named Cain. He was Abel's big brother. This is where the term big brother comes from. It comes from Cain. He's big brother, and his symbol is the all-seeing eye. The Twin Towers produced the Patriot Act after they fell, which is big brother. This was symbolic of how Adam and Eve produced Cain after they fell, big brother. The events surrounding 9/11 was one big analogy for the fall of man in the Garden of Eden, and the birth of Big Brother. Cain was supposed to watch over Abel because he was his older brother. But instead of watching over him for good, he watched over him for evil. In the same way, the Patriot Act isn't watching over us for good, but for evil. Now, let's see how the mark of the beast is connected to the mark that God put on Cain. God cursed Cain after he killed Abel. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Genesis 4:11. Cain was worried that someone might kill him after God cursed him, because he would be a fugitive and a vagabond. So, God put a mark on him, to protect him. And the Lord said unto him, Therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. Genesis 4:15. Now, it's important to note that just because that mark was for protection, it was also connected to a curse, because God put a curse on him. I believe the mark was an eye, and I believe it's where the eye of the Hamsa hand originates from. The eye of the Hamsa hand is an ancient symbol that's said to be used for protection. The mark God put on Cain was for protection. Not only that, but the Hamsa hand is said to be in the right hand, just like the mark of the beast will be in the right hand. Now, just to warn you, if you think you should go out and buy yourself a Hamsa hand ornament because you think it's going to protect you, you better think again. First of all, the mark God put on Cain wasn't an ornament, it was an actual eye in his hand, whether it was a physical eye or spiritual. Secondly, that eye was meant for Cain, not you, and like I said, it was connected to a curse, so don't partake in that curse. Also, such an ornament is an occult object, and having occult objects will bring demons into your life, so don't mess with it. Besides, it's just my theory that the Hamsa hand originates from the mark God put on Cain. I could be wrong. My point is, the mark God put on Cain was a foreshadowing of the mark of the beast, which I believe is an eye. In Isaiah chapter 14, Satan said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Satan wants to be like God. He's a copycat. Whatever God does, he also wants to do. If God put a mark on someone, Satan also wants to put a mark on someone. The mark that Satan will put on people is the mark of the beast. In the future, the Antichrist, which is Satan incarnate, is going to set up a throne on earth, and people are going to guard his throne by watching over it with the eyes he puts in them. By doing that, he'll be imitating God's throne in heaven. God's throne in heaven is guarded by 4 beasts that are full of eyes. The eyes in those beasts watch over his throne and guard it. The other function of these 4 beasts is to praise God day and night. And round about the throne were 4 beasts full of eyes before and behind. Revelation 4 verse 6. But why does an all-powerful God need to be guarded? Well, the answer is he doesn't. I believe he just wants to participate in his creation, just because he feels like it. To participate means to have the good things he created guard over him from the evil things he created. This is how God participates in his own creation, because he feels like it. What else is an all-powerful God who created all things supposed to do with his time? Now, since God has a throne that is guarded by beasts full of eyes, Satan wants the same thing. He also wants a throne guarded by beasts full of eyes. Those who take the mark of the beast will become the beasts that guard Satan's throne. God also has a chariot that he rides on. This chariot has wheels that are full of eyes. That could be because the spirit of the four beasts around God's throne that are full of eyes are in those wheels, which could be why those wheels have all those eyes. And since God has a chariot, Satan also wants a chariot. The wheels on Satan's chariot will be the people who take the mark of the beast. They will become Satan's wheels, and they will become his car. These human wheels with eyes in them will be a counterfeit version of God's chariot wheels that are full of eyes. In the future, I believe people are going to become cars, transportation devices for Satan. These cars may not look like the cars we see today, but more of an advanced form of a transportation device, a person mixed with a machine. The prophet Elijah called on God to rain down fire on Mount Carmel. The false prophet described in Revelation chapter 13 will be a counterfeit version of Elijah. He too will rain down fire on the earth. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Revelation 13:13. There's a reason the word car is in the word Carmel, as in Mount Carmel. Have you ever heard of the car service called Carmel Car Service? If you have you ever wondered why its number is 666 66 66?
Wherever you want to go, Carmel is a number to know. Ride Carmel and be on time, worldwide and nationwide. 666 6666. The number 6.
The number of the mark of the beast is 666. I believe the mark of the beast will have something to do with the false prophet raining down fire on the earth, and he will turn people into cars. And this will be a twisted counterfeit version of when Elijah rained down fire upon a sacrifice on Mount Carmel. The false prophet will rain down fire on a different kind of sacrifice. This sacrifice will be people that he turns into machines. They will be struck with the fire and turn into cars. They will be baptized with fire. The false prophet will also be a fake version of John the Baptist. John the Baptist wore a garment of camel's hair. A camel is a type of vehicle used to transport people to where they are going. John the Baptist was none other than Elijah. Now connect the word camel to the word Carmel. Notice they are similar in their spelling. That is not by accident. This further connects Mount Carmel and the false prophet to transportation devices. He will baptize people, turning them into machines.
It's amazing to see him in the wild like this.
For those who were born to ride, there's Progressive.
Fans, but
Right, yeah.
but there's all sorts of people all over the world with so many different views. But most importantly, I think it's about bringing people together, and the performance we did last night at the Grammys was and what we've been doing with the egg and the rebirth.
Yeah.
It's meant to signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race, and it's a race with no prejudice, a race within the race of humanity that bears no prejudice against anyone. So that's really the statement in itself.
Now when I say people are going to be turned into cars, I don't mean any kind of car. These new cars could be a new kind of vehicle, such as a flying drone with a camera on it. What is a car anyway but a transportation device? It can look like anything. The reason cars look like they have faces is because one day, people will turn into cars. Now let's talk about another car service, called Uber. Why would a car service name itself Uber? What's the real reason behind that name? The word Uber comes from the term Übermensch, which came from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Übermensch was about a superior race of humans. This idea of superhumans was adopted and taken further by Hitler and the Nazis, and they used it to describe their idea of a biologically superior race.
Signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race, and it's a race with no prejudice, a race within the race of humanity.
Yeah.
The car service called Uber transports people to where they want to go. In the same way, those who take the mark of the beast will become Satan's Ubers, his Übermensch, superpowered humans, that are cars, and they will transport him to where he wants to go. By doing this, Satan will be imitating God's chariot. This is the real reason the car service is called Uber. Satan is the bull. They will transport him and carry him around. They will carry the bull, the golden calf. Remember, Satan wants to be like God. He wants to be carried, just like the Ark of the Covenant was carried. That is the spiritual reason why this man on the news was carrying a bull around in his car. He was driving this bull, symbolic of driving Satan.
Around 10 a.m., the Norfolk Police Division responded to a call of a man driving eastbound on 275 with a Watusi bull in his passenger seat.
The officers received a call reference a car driving into town that had a cow in it. They thought that it was going to be, like a calf, something smaller, something that actually fit inside the vehicle.
And the vehicle was big enough. Well, technically.
As a result, the officer performed a traffic stop and addressed some traffic violations that were occurring with that particular situation.
The occupant of the vehicle was identified as Lee Meyer of Neely. The Watusi bull's name was Howdy Doody. He was immediately pulled over by Norfolk police and they performed a routine traffic stop.
The officer wrote him some warnings. There were some citable issues with that situation. The officer chose to write him a warning and ask him to take the animal back home and to leave the city.
Meyer and Howdy Doody are on their way back home and no one was hurt.
Those who take the mark of the beast will become trapped in cubes, technological prison cells. Each brick in the all-seeing eye pyramid represents those cubes, and they will be under the control of Satan as they drive him to where he wants to go. This is the meaning behind the cube car. The cube car is symbolic of how people will become trapped in cubes and become a transportation device. They will become the wheels. When they merge with the fallen angels and become one with the eye and go into infinity. When you hear the word transam, think about transhuman. People will transform into cars when they become transhuman. This will happen after the phoenix rises from the ashes. That phoenix on the Trans Am car represents the Antichrist, and the ashes he rises from will be from nuclear war. The Antichrist won't be revealed until nuclear war happens. Then, he will rise from the ashes. This Antichrist figure in the Paul VI audience hall is rising from what looks like a nuclear explosion. He rises from the ashes. It's no coincidence that the singer Usher wore a phoenix bird during his Super Bowl halftime show, and then he wore roller skates in a transhuman-looking outfit. His roller skates symbolized how he transformed into a car, rolling around on wheels. People will become vehicles after the phoenix rises from the ashes and sets up his throne on earth and causes people to take the mark of the beast. This logo from the online video game Second Life represents the mark of the beast, an eye in the hand. People will be transported into a virtual world when they take the mark of the beast. Those who take the mark will be transported into a prison cell, which will be a cube. The game cube, their mind will be trapped in it. This is the meaning behind the video game, Minecraft. And this is why that game is full of cubes. People will become trapped in cubes, in a video game, and it will become a nightmare to them. The late musician Prince wore glasses that represented the mark of the beast. The third glass lens represents the third eye. Notice his reptile skin vest and the leopard print. The Bible says the beast will look like a leopard. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, Revelation 13:2. Now let's talk about the number 666. I believe each eye represents a 6. The right eye is a 6, the left eye is a 6, and the third eye is a 6. When all three eyes are open, that would equal 6, 6, 6. To open the third eye is the final 6 in 666. The number 6 has to do with the eyes. That's why celebrities hold this hand sign over their eyes. The number 6 is a spiral. Look at the shape of it. It looks like a spiral. This triple spiral is associated with the god Cernunnos. Those 3 spirals are 3 sixes, and Cernunnos has to do with CERN. And what does CERN have outside of its headquarters? Shiva, a god with its third eye open. And the logo of CERN looks like 666. This connects the third eye to the mark of the beast. Depictions of people who have been hypnotized have eyes that spiral. Why is that? The lying serpent was in the Garden of Eden. What if Adam and Eve went under some kind of hypnosis after eating the forbidden fruit, causing their eyes to spiral? And since the human race came from them, we are all born with spiraling, hypnotized eyes. But only Jesus can break the spell, so the scales can fall from our eyes and we can see clearly. The first Apple computer sold for $666. Now connect that apple to the forbidden fruit, and connect 666 to their eyes being opened, because it said Adam and Eve's eyes were opened after they ate it. What eyes was it talking about? I believe it was talking about their third eyes. But Jesus sealed the third eye shut when he stuck his cross in it at the skull of Golgotha, right in the middle of the skull between the other crosses. Right into the third eye, he sealed it shut with his blood. And David sealed it shut by throwing a stone in it. Sealing it with a stone, he sealed Goliath's third eye shut. Adam and Eve opened the third eye, but Jesus fixed it by sealing it shut. But New Agers are trying to open it up again, to their own demise. The golden spiral is a mathematical pattern found all throughout nature. We see this spiral in shells, pine cones, plants, animals, hurricanes, the human body, DNA, and even the spiraling galaxy. I believe eternity, and even time itself spirals in that pattern. Our eyes see into a spiraling eternity in every direction we look, and at everything we look at. For example, if you look closely at an apple, the apple never ends. We see the skin, then we look closer and see the cells, then the atoms, then the protons, then what's inside the protons, then what's inside those things, so on and so forth, into a never-ending spiraling eternity of information. This means our eyes spiral as we look at everything, which would mean we have spiraling eyes, which makes me believe our eyes are sixes. And this means 3 eyes open at the same time would equal 6, 6, 6. Let's talk about the third eye. The New Age movement is obsessed with opening this eye. That's because they want to escape this reality and enter a new one. That will happen to them when they receive the mark of the beast in their foreheads, the eye, and they will enter a new reality, a video game dream world, and it will become their nightmare. There are 3 pillars in this Masonic picture. The right pillar is the right eye, the left pillar is the left eye, and the third pillar is the third eye. The third eye leads to the stars. They are trying to ascend up through that third eye. Each pillar looks like the letter I. The letter I represents an eye. They sound the same for a reason. This means a pillar is an eye. 3 pillars would be 3 eyes, the right eye, the left eye, and the third eye. Richard Branson wants to ascend up to the stars. That's why a picture of an eye was on his spaceship. It represents the third eye. It represents them opening the third eye to go up. Each pillar represents a strand of DNA. 3 pillars would be 3-strand DNA. 3-strand DNA is 666, their stairway to heaven.
And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken.
Mankind will mingle with the DNA of fallen angels, and they will become like those fallen angels. Humans will become machines. The third strand of DNA is the DNA of fallen angels. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Daniel 2:43. And they will become monsters.
And it led me to all of you and to my little monsters who I love so much.
To open the third eye is to open the dome above us. The dome above us is a reflection of our head, our dome. The dome above us is a mirror. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass, Job 37:18. What is above is also below. What is above is the macro to the micro. To open the third eye is to open the dome above us. It's to open the dome of our reality, and let what is on the outside of the dome come into this side. What lies outside of the dome is the Red Sea. The Red Sea is on the other side of the dome. The Red Sea is the spirit world. It's outer darkness. It's the jungle. It's the dream world. It's where nightmares exist. Whoever opens their third eye will open the floodgates of the Red Sea into their reality, and they will drown just like the people in the days of Noah who drowned in the flood. When the windows of heaven opened, and the flood waters came in. But this new water that comes in will be a spiritual water, not a physical water. For God said he would never flood the earth with water again. But he never said he wouldn't flood it with blood. This new water is a spiritual water, and it's not water, it's blood. This was prophesied when Jesus turned water into wine. Wine is blood, and that wine is the wrath of God that will be poured out upon all of them, because they rejected the love of the truth. Jesus turned the water into wine, the water of the flood of Noah into the wine of the wrath of God, water into wine. For the next time he punishes the world. They drowned in water the first time, the next time it will be blood. A spiritual torment that will sweep them away, and that blood is fire. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. John 19:34. The water that came out of his side represented the water of the flood of Noah. The blood represented the wine of the wrath of God. God poured out his wrath upon Jesus on the cross. His blood paid for our sins. But those who reject that payment of blood will feel the wrath of that blood as they drown in it, and make payment for their sins on their own in hell. The floodgates of the Red Sea will open upon those who open their third eyes. The red dot on the forehead, called the bindi, is red, because it represents the Red Sea. And it's over the third eye. Once the third eye opens, the blood will flood in. The Red Sea is what nightmares are made of. To open your third eye is to let nightmares into your reality. The dome above us protects us from the Red Sea. It's a barrier, a wall. The nightmare is on the other side of the glass dome, waiting to come in. Israel crossed the Red Sea without touching the water. They walked on dry ground. They went into the promised land, which represents heaven. Those who follow Christ will also walk on dry ground and not touch that Red Sea. When we get taken to heaven, the dome above us will open, and we will go up and not touch the water, for it will part like the Red Sea. It will part like a scroll. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. Revelation 6:14. But those who reject Christ, who try to go to heaven their own way, will be swept away like a flood into the Red Sea when they take the mark of the beast and open the third eye, and they will drown in it, like Pharaoh and his army in those waters of death. But we who follow Christ will have our marriage supper with the Lamb. It was during a marriage when Jesus turned water into wine, and that marriage represented our marriage to him at the end of the world. But those who reject Christ will marry the Red Sea when they get swept into it, when they take the mark of the beast.